Well, hello again, ladies and gents. I hope you're all keeping well and welcome to another video. This one I've been very excited about. I received a product in the post a couple of weeks ago that I've been constantly checking the tracking for and yeah, I've been playing around with it for the last couple of weeks and I'm very excited to show you all the Realsee Galois M2. So what is the Realsee Galois M2? Well, in a nutshell, it is a high-end 3D laser scanning camera system. Many of you may have seen the review that I did of the Realsee G2, which is their iPhone or Android gimbal that you can use, which is absolutely brilliant. It's a great piece of kit, but for a professional 360 virtual tour photographer like myself, I don't really want to be getting my phone out, putting it into a gimbal and all that sort of stuff. For someone who's just starting out, yeah, it's an absolutely fantastic solution. But I've basically been looking into getting into sort of 3D scanning for some time. However, many of the solutions out there have been way too expensive. And then Realsee contacted me and said, look, you know, would you mind doing a review of this camera for us? And so, full disclosure, they're not paying me for this video. All the opinions in this video are going to be my own. And again, spoiler alert, I think I've said it before, it's pretty good. So yeah, I'm really excited to show you all what this camera can do. Now, I just wanted to cover one thing before we start looking at it, and that is just to go through what the difference is, in my opinion, between photography and scanning. This may be a bit controversial, but you know, I see a lot of people on social media groups and things like that who use a particular scanning company at the moment, saying, oh, you know, I'm a professional photographer and stuff like that. It's not photography. You know, with these systems, you set it up and you push a button and it's done, you know. So I think it's important to separate the two in a way. Yes, you're taking photos and you're providing a service, but this is a service that I have wanted to add on for quite a while. And as I mentioned before, you know, the options out there were just way too expensive. And now this has come along and it's given me an option to add this in, simply because the whole package that you get is just so impressive. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the specifications of the camera first of all. So as I mentioned before, there has been one player in the game that's been around for over 10 years that a lot of people have used for 3D scanning. Let's just call it Dave. And Dave has had the monopoly for some time now. So it's really nice to see a new company come into the fray and offer something that genuinely is very impressive. So let's take a quick look at what you get if you buy the Realsee Galois M2. So I'm not going to do a full unboxing video of this because, as I said earlier, I've already taken it out of the box. I've already been using it for a couple of weeks, so there's no point me putting it all back and taking it all out again. But you do get a box, which is a good thing. The packaging is impressive. It's really nice. It came really well packaged. And basically what you'll get in there is no mucking about. Let's just start with the main thing itself. You get the Galois camera itself. So there we go. It comes with these really nice sort of magnetic lens cover on the front. So that just pops on like so. And then there's also one for the Lidar scanner on the side of the camera itself. So that just pops on there just to keep it all protected. They did also send me a Arca Swiss tripod plate to go on the bottom, which is handy. I'm not sure whether that's included in the offer. I do know that they do include one thing, which is the tripod, which I'll show you in a sec. But I have also added a bubble level on the top here. Basically, the reason I did that is because I'm a bit of a stickler for all my images being sort of fully upright. So yeah, what I wanted to do is just make sure that each time I set this up, the camera's nice and level. However, I think it has got some kind of leveling feature built into it anyway, so it's not 100% necessary, but it's always recommended just to be safe and make sure that your camera is nice and level. So yeah, we'll go through some specs in a sec. I've had to write them down because there's quite a few. But yeah, it's extremely well built and very, very impressive. So the other bits and pieces that they sent, a tripod. So this is a carbon fibre tripod that they sent me. It's pretty good. It's not bad quality, but I have a collection of tripods myself. So yeah, I've just used one of mine. But it's and it's nice to know that if you're getting into this straight away, it's nice to know that that you're going to have a tripod ready to use. Power, yep, it's all the plugs and stuff. Has got a Chinese plug on it, but yeah, it's they did send me an adapter. I'm not quite sure, assuming that they will do sort of country-specific plugs once this gets rolled out fully, which it is starting to now. But I'm pretty sure they'll send adapters out for people for you to use. And finally, a bag. Now, again, I'm not sure if this is going to be included. I know for sure that the tripod does come with it, but I think these will probably be added on as extras. Sorry to interrupt, future Nick here. Instead of recording the whole thing again, I thought I'd just add this in. Yes, you will get the tripod, you will get the Arca Swiss mounting plate, and you will also get the bag. So, happy days. Back to me. But the bag is really, really good. If I just open it up at the top here, you've got a big section just in there to put your camera in. It's nice and padded. You've also got a zip section at the top here just to put bits and pieces in there, like maybe a spare battery, because you can interchange the battery on this, which is fantastic. And then you've also got a couple of little sort of cubbies in here that fold down, just a small little space just to put a couple of other bits and pieces. You're not going to need to take much with you because the camera does everything for you. So yeah, I mean, overall it's a really nice package, and I've been so impressed with the build quality of the camera, the functionality of the camera. So without further ado, let's go through a few specs. Just going to go and grab my spec sheet. 1 second. Here they are. Got them. I did try and record this yesterday without the specs, and yeah, it was a nightmare. So much to remember. So this will be a lot easier, so I hope you forgive me. So let's go through the specs of the camera itself. So it has a 134 megapixel micro four thirds sensor, which is amazing compared to Dave's camera, the flagship one, which has got a 1-inch sensor on it, which is similar to what you would get on an Insta360 ONE RS, something like that. Which is not a bad thing. It's just having that bigger sensor is going to enable you to sort of gather more light. It just gives a slightly sort of sharper image. So also the white balance reproduction on it has been really impressive. So yeah, straight out of the box, it's fantastic. 7.5mm ultra wide fisheye lens, auto exposure and auto HDR, which is great. It has a 0.4 maximum measurement error using the Lidar scanner, which means it's sort of plus minus 20mm accuracy, which is fantastic. It's really impressive. I think a slightly more, the actual nanometer measurement, again, is slightly better than Dave's. It has the scan range of the Lidar is 0.2 to 25 meters, which is very strong. So yeah, I mean you can capture a lot more without having to do multiple scans every meter or so. You still need to do scans every sort of 1.5 meters to 2 meters ish, but you'll get the preview on the screen of how your scan is looking, so we can have a look at that later on. You have standard and high quality point scanning. Basically, in most situations, you would use the standard scanning, but you do have the option of doing the high quality scan, which basically just captures more point cloud data. So if you are exporting your 3D data into something like Blender or something like that, and you want to do some sort of fine-tuning adjustments, then it probably is recommended to use the high quality one. But for standard use, just use the standard one, simply because the capture time is longer. It takes 25 seconds to capture a standard scan and 60 seconds to capture a high quality scan. So if you times that over the amount of scans, especially if you're doing a big business or something like that, then yeah, it's going to take you quite a lot longer to do. So that 134 megapixel sensor gives you an image size in pixels of 16,000 by 8,000, which is incredibly impressive. And with Dave's platform, you have to be on the business or enterprise plan to be able to export images in high resolution. I think you also have to pay $100 per tour as well to export all the images. So yeah, it's nice to have the freedom of being able to export your images using Realsee. Even if you just want to chuck a photo up on Facebook or something like that, you can do it. So I think the native resolution for the other one is quite low. It's like 3,000 or 4,000 pixels, so it's barely usable. Battery life, you'll get 8 hours out of the camera, which is very impressive. You can charge the camera whilst you're using it. So if you wanted to, you could try and stick a sort of a portable charger. It does have to be a high-powered one, either on the side or on the top of the camera, but be careful with the side because it may make the camera tilt over slightly. However, you can replace the batteries. So if you are doing big scans that are going to be over 8 hours, good luck to you, first of all. And second of all, just buy a replacement battery. The camera takes about 3.5 hours to recharge. It weighs 2.66 kilos with the battery installed. And as I said, that can be interchanged, so that's really, really good. And it works on both iOS and Android. The great thing is that you can scan outdoors with this camera, which is a huge, huge, huge game changer. With Dave's system, the original one, you couldn't scan outdoors with it. The new one, I think you can, so that's good. But having the freedom to be able to capture a scan of a property's garden or something like that is just absolutely brilliant. So let's just go through a few of the pros. Again, image quality. I can't stress this enough. It's fantastic. The quality of the images are great. Amazing color, great contrast, good white balance. The HDR is excellent. It's good, but we'll go over that in a minute. Yeah, it's been through auto white balance, ease of use. It's really, really, really easy to use. And I will show you in a minute sort of how to set the camera up, and we'll take some photos, but that's not going to take us long at all. The app is great. It connects really, really quickly to the camera. It's incredibly simple to use, the app, so that's a plus, because using apps in the field can be a bit of a pain sometimes. So yeah, that's a real huge, huge, huge plus there. And as I said, the fact that you can export the full resolution images is amazing. And I mean, it's even so much so that I might end up using this camera for 70-80% of my commercial 360 tours as opposed to my Sony a7 IV, because it's just so much faster. With the Sony, I have to take up the 6 photos and then stitch them all together, do all the HDR processing and everything like that. So for the larger tours and larger businesses, I probably will still use the Sony, but for the majority of work, I will. I'll more than likely be using the Realsee. The only downside with the images is that they are JPEG only at the moment. However, Realsee are very, very, very good when it comes to listening to their customers. So I've requested to them that they do add the ability to export in RAW/DNG, which will be absolutely amazing. and they said yes, they will look into hopefully adding that soon. So, and finally the Realsee console is fantastic. Basically, the console is what you use to edit your tour. I'll show you through the console a little bit later on, so do stick around for that. But yeah, it's great. Cons. They're not really any, to be honest, because the two things, or few things that I've got here, or two things, are hopefully going to be fixed. So, well, one of them in a roundabout way. The vertical view with the Realsee Galois M2 is quite limited. It's 150 degrees vertically, so you do get quite a large blur patch on the Nadir and the Zenith. Dave's one is 295 degrees, so it's somewhat bigger. However, I spoke to Realsee about it, and I believe Hugh Huff did a video on the Realsee as well recently. So if you want to take a look at that, I'll put a link to that in the description below for you, because he's a legend. Hey Hugh. And he mentioned that he contacted Realsee as well about this. Basically, with the view of us being able to export the photos and then import them into Photoshop, so we can use generative AI to fill that Nadir and Zenith gap in, and then re-import them back into Realsee while still keeping all of the Lidar data on there. So if they can do that, that will be an absolute game changer, because then we'll have a full 360 by 360 image, albeit sometimes the generative AI may put like a cow on the floor or something like that. But yeah, if it's just a plain floor and not too detailed, you should be absolutely fine. The only other one I could think of really was there's only 3 HDR brackets, which I don't feel is enough to capture the full extent of the exposure range, especially if it's a sunny day outside. So if you're shooting indoors and it's sunny and you've got like a nice view outside the window or a swimming pool outside or something like that, 3 brackets is going to struggle to capture all of that data. So again, I contacted Realsee and said, look guys, do you think there's a possibility that you could increase that to 5? And they said, leave that with us, we'll have a look at it. And I'm pretty sure they're going to do it. So that'd be great if you can. And that's it. So there aren't really any cons, to be honest, and just things that we're going to have to sort of wait around for. So overall, I think you'll agree that on paper, this is it's a pretty special piece of kit. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at setting the camera up, how you use it. We'll see it in action just so you can see it doing its scanning thing. And then what we're going to do after that is I'm going to delve into the Realsee console. So you can take a look at what you can do within the console. We'll take a look at the floor plan editor as well. And then we'll go over a few other bits and pieces like pricing, which I'm sure you're all thinking about. But for now, if you stick around for all of that, for now, let's have a look at this awesome camera in action. Okay, so here we are. We've got the Realsee Galois M2 set up on the tripod. We're ready to go. All I need to do, this is going to be quite a quick section of the video because it's very straightforward. Just take the cap off the front and the cap off the Lidar scanner there. And I've checked my bubble levels, they're fine. Again, this is optional. You don't have to have one of these on there, just me. And then at the back here, there's a power button. So we just turn that on and you'll be able to hear it whir into action. Should be able to hear that. It's not too loud, and it's quite a sensitive mic, so it probably sounded quite loud, but it's not at all. The good thing is you can hear it sort of whirring. So I think it does 6 shots, 5 or 6 shots. And the good thing is because when you're normally taking these shots, you can follow the camera around. Just need to make sure that you don't get in the way of the Lidar scanner or the camera. So you need to stand on this side of the camera. But what I normally do is just step out the room, go around the corner. You do need to bear in mind when you are shooting with one of these 3D laser scanners is you do need to keep all the doors of the property or business or wherever you are open. Because when you're doing your scans, you need to keep about 1.5 to 2 meters between each scan, but also you need to make sure that you capture near the door frame and the hallway, so you can basically connect those two sections together. and that helps the 3D scan stitch together better as well. So do bear that in mind. I would do a shoot outside as well, do some shots outside, but unfortunately we've got Storm Kiran, as it's called at the moment, and it's absolutely chucking it down with rain outside, and I don't fancy getting this thing wet. So yeah, we'll have to carry on in here. So all I need to do is get my phone out. As I said, this does work with Android and iOS. So I'm just going to open up my app. I've just realised I've only got 15% battery on here, so hopefully we'll be fine. In fact, I'm just going to record this, obviously, so you can see what's going on my screen, because if you couldn't, that wouldn't be any help at all. So right, I'm going to open up the app, and here you can see the main screen. I'm just going to delete this test tour that I did. There we go. I've got a few ones that I've already done on here, and I will be sharing the links for one of these in the description of the video below, so you can take a look at a demo tour and just check out the quality of the camera. But all I need to do on here is literally just click the bottom left button, click Realsee Camera, and then it will ask to join. When you first set this up, it will ask for you to put in a Wi-Fi password. But you will only have to do that once. You don't have to put the password in every single time. So there we go, we're already connected. So it's really, really quick. I love this app. It's really good. They've done a fantastic job with this. So all we need to do is click on Start. And then I'm just going to go through a few of the bits and pieces on here just so you can understand how this works. So starting from the top left, we've got where it says 1F. That's the floor number. There is no GF for ground floor, which I think would be good, but you can change that in the software at a later date, so when you're editing the tour. So just treat 1F as ground floor, and then when you want to add another floor, and just go to the settings and just add another floor in when you get to the second floor or the third floor, or whatever it may be. 2D and 3D is the view of the scan, so we'll take a look at that in a minute. And then you've got the plus button at the bottom in the middle, which is your scan button, and then to the left of that we've got the scan settings. So as I mentioned earlier on, there are two options. So you've got standard and high precision. Most of the time you'll be using the standard setting, but if you are doing anything that is going to involve you exporting the point cloud data to something like Blender, I'm not hugely sort of familiar with Blender and this 3D thing. I should be, and I will be, hopefully by beginning part of next year, because I'm going to spend my time off in December studying it. But yeah, there's enough projects that you can do with 3D, and yeah, I think Hugh mentioned that in his video as well. So if you haven't seen that video, do please check it out and support that man. Automatic alignment I would keep on, because otherwise you're going to need to connect every point manually in the software after. Data upload, I would keep that switched off. Be very, very careful with it, because this does create quite a lot of data upload. So unless you've got unlimited data on your mobile phone, then I would highly recommend keeping that switched off. And then what you can do is, once you're connected to Wi-Fi when you get home from your job or wherever you are, then you can just you can upload it via Wi-Fi from there. But if you have got unlimited data on your phone and you've got a good signal, then switch that on, and it will save you some time, because it will basically upload the data for you during scanning. So yeah, bit of a time saver there. And Wi-Fi settings, just leave that. And then the other one is feature annotation. So this basically gives you the ability to add sort of glass and trim things and mirrors and all sorts of stuff. And I've never used that personally. The camera itself sort of recognises windows and doors and everything pretty well, very accurately. So, and you can always add things in the floor plan editor later, and we will sort of take a look at that as well. And yeah, I think that's all there is to do. So all we do from there, click the plus, and we'll get it whirring. There we go. So it's off. Now, obviously I'm not going to use this as an example photo because I will be in it. But this is just to give you an idea of how it operates, how it sounds. You can see the Lidar scanner here. So it's not overly loud, but once it's finished its scan like so, oh, this one, there we go, beep. So you know then that it's finished its scan, you can come back in the room and you can move the camera to the next position, okay? So on the screen now we can see that it's already created the point cloud for us, and so if we use one finger we can just drag around in the 2D view above, but if you want to switch to 3D, click on 3D, and then again you can spin the 3D model. You can see me there, and if you want to move the model around, use two fingers on the screen, just move it around like so, and then yeah, we can just zoom into a part of this here, and we can see the point cloud. We'll just move into the model here and we can see the point cloud data. And yeah, you can see that it's collected a lot of information just for one scan. So, you know, imagine how much data that is going to collect once you've done another scan over here and then one over here and one over here. Yeah, it's for the standard precision, it's brilliant. I mean, the high precision one is crazy. There's so many, it's ridiculous. But yeah, I hope that's been useful. So what we're going to do now is we're going to head back up to the office and we'll have a look at the Realsee console. Well, there we have it. I think you'll agree it's a pretty easy to use system. So before we take a look at the Realsee console, what I wanted to do is go through the pricing with you. I thought I'd just get that out of the way now, because I'm sure a lot of you are wondering exactly how much this awesome system is. So, Realsee are doing an early bird offer at the moment. The recommended retail price for the camera, I believe, I think it's about $11,000 or something like that. However, they are doing an offer at the moment, which will give you the Realsee camera for $5,499. And with that, you will get a tripod included. As I mentioned earlier on, I'm not sure about the other accessories. I think you may have to pay extra for those. But you will get the camera and the tripod. You will also get 1,500 credits. Okay, and one credit equates to 30 days of hosting per space. All right, so that's pretty much, well, yeah, it's a lot of tours. So that's included with that price. You will also get a free floor plan editor for a year. You'll get free live 3D calling for a year. And you will also get free AI renovation for 30 spaces. All right. So you can see here that Realsee are keen to get people on board. I think they've got a fantastic business model in place because it's basically a pay-as-you-go system. You know, should you be watching this after the offer is over, they may have changed the retail price of the camera. I'm not too sure. However, you only pay for what you use. So, you know, unlike Dave, you have to pay quite a substantial amount of money for hosting each month, and then extra costs and so on and so forth for business and enterprise models and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, I mean, I'll leave you to do your own comparisons. I don't want to mock any other companies. You know, what Dave does is good. I just think the business model isn't quite there. It's too much. So I think Realsee are onto a winner here. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're now going to have a look at the Realsee console and see what it can do. Have a look at the editing tools and also have a look at the floor plan editor. And yeah, let's head on to the computer now and take a look. Okay, so here we are in the Realsee console. First of all, I wanted to apologise for the change in audio quality. My DJI mic wouldn't work with my new computer case. My old one had a microphone socket and this one's got one of those dual headphone microphone ones, and I just couldn't get it to work. So hopefully you can hear me okay, but yeah, sorry if the sound quality is reduced a bit. So let's crack on anyway. So we can see that the console is very well laid out. It's nice and clean, and all we need to do, we've got some sort of preview tools that we've got set up here, If I wanted to copy one of those links just to have a look at one of them, then I could just copy and paste in here, and then it will load the tour up, and there we go. So we've got the tour there ready to look at and ready to view. So we've got the model and so on and so forth. And let's say we wanted to edit this tour. So I'm going to use this school one as an example. So just click on edit. And here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go down these tabs on the left hand side one by one, just to make sure that I cover as much as possible for you. So first of all, we have the info tab, which we've currently got highlighted. So this basically is the name of your tour. So let's just change that to primary school demo. We can put the location in. We can put an introduction. So this is a demo tour. Oh. Realsee, and we can put a link in as well. So this is, say for example, you're doing this for a real estate agent. You can put the agent's name in here. You can put the road name, the property type, whatever it may be, and you put a link to their website on there. You can also add in new details. So this can be whatever you like, and that's quite a handy tool to have. Orientation. So we can set the north point. So let's say, for example, this is north here. We'll just point that way. You can basically just go onto Google Maps of the business or whatever it is you've shot and just find out whereabouts north is, or take a compass with you, or just do it on your phone. And then we just set the perspective to north like so. You can attach multimedia files as well. So you can do JPEGs, PNGs, MP4s, like an audio description or something like that. And then PDFs as well. So again, with the property tour, if you've got floor plans or something along those lines, you can add those in as well. Okay, and then we've got contact. So this is the contact details that show up in the bottom left-hand side of the tour. So this could either be the agents themselves, or it could be you as the photographer, depending on what information your client wants on there. But you do have a large amount of information that you can put in here. You've got occupation, contact number, email, QR code you can put on there, just so people can sort of scan the tour and open up your website and so on and so forth. And then you can sort of put my selected works on here as well. So you can put a list of sort of demo tours that you've done on there. And then you've got your company details as well here that you can fill out as well. So then we've got settings. So this is the initial view. So if we want, we can change the initial view on there. I mean, I'm happy with what it is now, but if you wanted to sort of change it, and you can see here that it gives you a really cool sort of overlay for the phone. So you can make sure that the initial view is set for the phone as well as the desktop version, which I think is a fantastic idea. And then just click on Save Initial View, and then job done. Okay. And then we've got skin. So we can change what sort of layout we want to have. So we've got a minimalist skin, which just sort of emphasizes on the images themselves. I'm not going to go through all of them and preview all of them because it will just take too much time. But it's really, really nice for you to have the option to choose what the overlay is in your tour. And then you've got your logos here. So we can do the default style logo, which would be the Realsee logo, or you can upload your own custom logo in here. And it says recommended height 72 pixels, so you may need to adjust some of your logos to fit in here, but that's good. Then you can also put your own custom logo on the nadir as well at the bottom. I have noticed that when you look down, because it doesn't go all the way down, the logo is in the middle here. So either it's too small, so you can't read it, or it's too big and then it cuts half of it off. So I probably personally would just leave that as hide, just hide it. So all you'll see when you look down is the compass on the floor. So, and then all you do is click save. In fact, let's change this to technology. Let's try that one. Click save, and then let's just preview it anyway. There we go. So we can see here that it's just put this little swoop underneath it. And yeah, we've got a floor plan and model. It is coming up with this at the moment, which I think will always sort of pop up just simply because it's a Chinese website. So it's not the end of the world. Let's go back to minimalist. And then we've got point style. So this again is a great thing. You can basically change what your points look like. So you've got these pulsating points. You've got just plain circles that pulsate out like that. You've got little shoe footsteps that you can add in. And then you've got feet as well. So, you can fill the background in like so. And then you can change the colors. So it's nice to have a little bit of customization there. You can even change it to whatever color you want. You can change it to the company's brand colors that you're working with. So on and so forth. But I think white just looks nice and clean. And then you can also change the size as well. So if we move the scaling up, it's going to make those points look much bigger. But yeah, the default is 1, and I think that works well on both mobile and desktop. Enhance. So you've got the entrance cover, so you've got an animation, or you can add a static image in, so you can pop your image in for both for phone and for PC, which is fantastic, just to make sure that the image looks great on both. And then also you've got your, this is the Realsee logo, but you can change it to just say loading. Again, you can put your own logo in there, or the company's logo. And then you can choose whether you come straight into the panorama or the first thing you see is the model. Okay. I personally would recommend going into the panorama and then give people the option to view the model later on. But it's completely up to you. And then again, you just simply click on save and you're done. So then we've got interact. You can put a pop-up post in. So this could be like a call to action, like book a viewing now or buy now or whatever it may be. So that's a really nice feature. You can basically choose when to display it, so straight away or after a certain time, or if they've opened a certain link or they've displayed information about something within the tour. So it's very customizable. And then this one, I personally would steer well clear of. I'm not, as many of you know, I'm not a fan of music in tours. It's basically like having music on a website. It's a no-no. Because if someone's viewing this tour and they're in a quiet place, like in a doctor's waiting room or in a library or somewhere where they don't want to make noise, it's gonna set a bad impression of the business or whatever they're looking at, and they're just gonna shut the tour down. So personally, I would not put music in. But you can if you like. So yeah, moving on. We've got the Hotspots button on the left-hand side here. So this basically just gives you a list of all the labels that you've got. So if you notice, in fact, let me just go back to settings. That's fine. So what here with Hotspots, you can add all sorts of hotspots in here. Okay, so you've got text. So if you wanted to add text in there, we can. So let's just say on this wall here, we can add sports hall. And then we can choose the type of spot that shows up. So let's just go to this one here. And again, we can change the size and then click save. And there we go. So that's put a little sort of pop-up call to action that comes in, or sort of a descriptive box that will show up. And again, I won't go through all of these because they are self-explanatory. You've got graphic images that you can put up. So you've got video, so that gives you the ability to pop a link into a video, so when they click on it, a video will play. Audio, again, this could be say like an audio hotspot. So this can be handy. So this isn't music or anything like that. This is the audio description. So if you have a voiceover for something and when they click on it, it will basically say what it is. And then you've got stickers. So again, you can pop a sort of a sticker on there just to say play or shop now or something like that. Hyperlinks you can put in there. Point is just an extra sort of point that you can sort of click on. You can switch points to a different point within the tour. And then space is the same thing. And then screen is a great one. You can basically put either images or video on TV screens. So this is a feature that, as many of you know, I mean, I've used 3D Vista, as I mentioned earlier on, for a long time. So let's just choose a video here. And this is a feature that you can do with that as well. So if I just click on here, when I first tried this out, I did find it a little bit tough to get the screen sort of exactly in the right place. But for demo purposes, let's just leave it there. Then proportional adaptation, you will want to have that kept on because you want to stay in proportion for the screen itself. And then click on save, and there we go. So there's a video set on the screen. And then you have the virtual staging button. I'm not going to go into virtual staging because it is a complete, that'll be a different video altogether. But what Realsee does is it gives you the ability to add in virtual furniture within the tour. And I'll pop an overlay onto the screen for you now so you can take a look. I think that'll be the best way of doing it. But you can also virtually stage entire tours, or entire rooms. So you can basically click on it and it will automatically virtually stage the room for you. So yeah, that is an absolutely incredible feature to have. And then you've got the commodity button, which gives you the ability to put product links on there. And then you can put an external link on there as well. So if you want to sort of highlight a product in a shop or something like that, you can put a link that will take you directly to that product page on the company's website. So, and again, you can put different tags and stuff on there. So yeah, I think they've covered tons in here for you to be able to do. So yeah, moving on, we've got the guide. Okay, and this basically what it will do is it will give you the ability to set a route through the tour. So if you want to take the viewer through particular points, or even a custom route, so you can jump from one point to another. But if we click on just display settings here, you can choose fade, so it will take you through to each one like that, or fly, which there we go, you'll basically just fly through like so. So yeah, that's another really nice feature that you can add in. And again, you've got tons and tons of different settings that you can choose from there. The adjust button gives you the ability to add filter effects onto the images. So if you click on adjust filter for all points, then you can basically change how your images look. So this is the original. You can click on bright, which will make the images look much brighter. You can click on warm, which will make the images look much warmer, or you've got custom. So this is just fantastic. It's basically like a photo editor within the platform. And again, this is where Realsee differs quite dramatically from Dave. If you don't understand what that is, then go back to the beginning of the video and watch. So yeah, you've got your color adjustment, color temperature, tone, brightness, contrast, highlights, shadows, sharpening. So yeah, loads and loads of control over your images through that. We've got, I'm going to go to the floor plan in a minute. The last thing I'm going to have a look at on here is the model trim. So here is our 3D model that we've created, but we can notice that it has added in a few different bits and pieces that we don't particularly want. in there. So let's say, for example, we want to get rid of this vaulted ceiling here, which is in this room. I mean, yes, it is part of the room because it's vaulted, but it doesn't look very good on the model. So we can trim the top, and so we can move this down like so. There we go, and click Save. In fact, we're going to need to expand that out a bit more. We can just move that over there and just trim that off there. And then let's have a look and see if there's any sides that we need to trim. Yeah, let's get rid of this reception area here because you can't really see that within the tour itself. So if I come here, and then I'll place that there, and then we'll click Save. Okay, so that's now trimmed that part of the model as well. I don't think there's anywhere else. There's a little bit at the top there, but you see where I'm going with it. You can just basically make the model look just a bit cleaner. Okay, and then it does save the trims for you as well, so you can basically unview them, undo them, like so. Yeah, and you can delete them and sort of go back if you want to. Okay, and then we'll click Apply, and then we've got points, which is basically just an overview of all of the points that you have within your tour, and then you can edit those and connect them. As I mentioned earlier on, if you hadn't done that in the console in the app, then you can connect them all from there. So I think that's pretty much it for here. So if I click on Floor Plan, what we will do is have a look at the floor plan editor. So here is the Realsee floor plan editor. Now, I have had a bit of a play around with this, and there are a few things that I have mentioned to Realsee that I think could do with improvements. But as I mentioned earlier on, they are incredibly receptive to feedback. So, those changes I think will be in effect very, very, very soon. But this is the entrance, shot number 1. You can see where we came in, and you can see that here there's no wall that's been put in. So if you wanted to add a wall in, we basically just click Draw Wall and then come from here to here, and then we can draw the wall in like so. Okay. This is basically part of the scan as well. So this is where this section here is where I didn't trim the 3D model properly. But again, if we wanted to delete a section, then we can click on it, just click delete, and then delete from there. And then again, we just come in and just draw a wall. Like so. So say for example we wanted to add a door in. There is normally a door here. Let's just do double door, and then we'll pop that in there. And then we've got a door at the front here. That's not a sliding door. We'll just delete it, and then we'll put a double door in there. There we go. So you see what I mean. I mean it's a very, very easy to use system, but depending on this scan that I did was very, very rushed. It was just simply for demo purposes. So if I'd scanned all the corners and the nooks and crannies and areas, it would have shown up with a better plan. So as long as you're scanning correctly, then you shouldn't have to do much work to this whatsoever. Now, there are a few other things that I have mentioned to Realsee that I'm hoping that they're going to put in, and I'm sure they will because they're very responsive. But one of the main things, and I think it sounds to be just a sort of a UK thing, maybe in the US as well, but in China they said that they generally tend to work off square meterage in rooms. In the UK, people like to see the length and the width of the room as well as the square meterage, or even over the square meterage. So I think hopefully they're going to be putting the ability to add the measurements in that the camera's taken. So yeah, I look forward to seeing what they do with that. And then here you've got all of your different sort of advanced settings that you can use. So again, I'm not going to go through all of this. I will at some point be doing a more in-depth tutorial on how to use everything to do with Realsee. I'm probably going to separate the floor plan editor into a completely separate video, but what I wanted to do was just make sure that they've got everything updated in here first of all before that's done. But if we click on apply, then that will basically apply everything to our floor plan. And here we go. We can basically just see an overlay, sort of preview of what the floor plan will look like. So you've got this view here with just the sort of the orange in the background. You've got this sort of modern view, and then you've got a layered one as well. So one other thing to cover is that you can add furniture in. So again, this is mainly going to be for property tools. Let's say, for example, this here was a living room. We can click on living room. We've got a 3-seater sofa. So we could come here and we could pop a sofa in, and we can rotate and all sorts of stuff like so. 190. There you go. There's a sofa in there. You've got quite a bit of furniture in here. Another bit of feedback I gave is that they could do with more selection in here to put in, like for example, fireplaces and things like that. But as it stands, there is a lot here. You've got things for bedrooms, kitchens, bathrooms, study rooms. But just the fact that this is in here is fantastic, because it's, you know, you would normally need a separate floor plan tool to do all of that for you. So yeah. Sorry if this has been a little bit longer than expected, but yeah, I just wanted to give you an idea of the Realsee console, because I feel that it is an incredibly beneficial part of the whole system itself. And without further ado, let's head back into the office. Well, I'm in the office, but let's head back to me. Sorry, before I hand you back to me, I just wanted to show you a couple of other features that show up in the actual tour itself. We've seen that we've got the floor plan button here. So there we go. That's our floor plan, and it shows us exactly where we are. So if we want to jump into a certain area, we can just click straight on it like so. And then we've got the model. So this is our 3D model that we created, and we can see that it's now trimmed like we did a second ago. And then if we go back into Explore, we've got the tools button at the bottom, which gives you a ruler and measuring features. So if we wanted to measure something, we can do length. So let's say if we wanted to know how wide these cupboards were, we just click there, drag it across to here, and there we go. So that's 2.12 meters. And then we can just click end, or we can carry on and we can measure even more, like so. And do end. All right, so we can now see the measurements in there. Okay, nice and clear. We can also do area measurements as well, which is really handy. And then under labels, you've got to see, remember we made that label earlier on for the sports hall. So if we click on that, that's going to take us straight back to that label that we made to show us the label. And then we've got our sharing button as well. There is also a company logo in the bottom left-hand corner here, which is good, just to say this tour has been created by me. And then we've got the contact information that we saw earlier on. So this is where you put your company information of the company that you shot the tour for. And again, I didn't put too much in there, but you can fill pretty much as much information in there as you want. So you can put a map in there, you can do all sorts of things. And then you can also do a preview on mobile. So that seems to be very, very sort of tall and thin for me. Yeah, it gives you an idea of how it's all going to look. So yeah. Well, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed the video. I, for one, have very much enjoyed recording it for you guys, because I believe it's a fantastic product. As I mentioned before in lots of my videos, I don't review anything that I don't believe in. And I think Realsee have done an absolutely stellar job with this product. So all that's left for me to say now is, if you're not subscribed yet, please do by clicking the subscribe button and the bell icon below. Also, if you fancy giving me a little bit of tip just to get a coffee or something, I have actually added a thanks button as well that you can find down there. So any of that is appreciated. We all need to pay for food and stuff, especially when you've got 2 kids. So if you have enjoyed this video, I would appreciate any donations that you can offer. And yeah, I hope you all keep well, and I hope you all keep busy, and I will speak to you all again soon. All right, take care. Bye-bye.